Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hallmark Home Mortgage Television. We are at the rescue mission and we're showing off this great new space. It's such a vital component to the Fort Wayne community, and today my guest is Emily Lahr, who is the Major Gift Officer here at the rescue mission. Emily, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so thanks for giving us the tour of this great space, and I think I want to start by asking you if somebody, I think a lot of folks are familiar with the rescue mission, but what's it all about? What's the heart of the rescue mission?
Absolutely. Well, through the power of Jesus Christ, it is our goal to provide a home for the homeless, to provide food for the hungry, and to provide hope for their future. And so really at the rescue mission, we believe that hope starts with a meal. So we have 3 community meals, 7 days a week, and that's just an opportunity for someone, whether they are experiencing a homelessness crisis or maybe they're just nearing one, that they can come in and have a hot meal and sit down and just start to build some relationships, and with relationship comes trust. And then maybe we can talk with them about what some options are to create some real change in their life.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I really like is it's not about a handout, but a hand up.
Absolutely.
And the rescue mission is so much more than even just that meal. That might be the starting point, meeting a basic need. But let's talk a little bit about kind of the opportunities, the structure. So we have the different houses. We have the Life House, which is just kind of that, well, I'll let you tell it, but kind of that immediate, I don't have a place to go, right? I need some shelter.
Yeah, like you said, we are just meeting those basic essentials of life. And gentlemen can come and stay with us anywhere from 14 to 30 days, dependent on the weather. But it is necessary for them to come each night of their stay, because our end goal is we don't want to be a flop house, right? We want people to create real change, lasting change in their life.
Yeah, and so if somebody has longer term needs, they might move into Restoration House, and that's where we're kind of matching opportunities and training and all sorts of things. Talk a little bit about that to really give somebody the tools and the steps to kind of, move on to a more stable environment.
Right. So one of the things that I've learned with Life House is that some of the gentlemen that stay with us in emergency shelter do have jobs, and they found themselves in a difficult situation. They've lost their housing, and they just need a couple weeks to save a few paychecks to get their next place. Whereas there are going to be other gentlemen who are coming in with us, or on the women and children side, where they've got past trauma in their life that has created some real barriers to employment. Maybe they have attempted to self-heal through alcohol or drug use, which has formulated addictions. Maybe they've got some mental illness that they need to work through. And so there are a variety of reasons that people come to us, but in the end, we desire to have them enter into Restoration House, which is the programming side, where they are paired with a case manager and they can go deep to what is the root cause of your homelessness, your addiction, whatever those issues may be, so that we can address that and we can get you from a place of surviving to a place of thriving.
Yeah, that's so important, and I think a lot of folks probably view people with needs or homelessness as, well, they must have lost a job, or they're addicted to drugs or alcohol, or a variety of things. But really the root cause is, when we've talked about this, is their support system is just dried up. They have no one else, right?
That's right. A lack of healthy relationships is the leading cause of homelessness. Now, their mental illness, their addiction issues, things like that could have led to that lack of healthy relationships, but that is the main cause that people end up here or end up out on the streets.
Building back those relationships is so critical to future success. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So when you're talking about the men who are in Restoration House or the women who are at Charis House, one of the things that before they complete their programming, the case managers that are working with them, they're going to say, I want you to write down 30 to 50 names of support systems in your life that you can call on, and these are people outside of the rescue mission. Are we always going to be there for them? Absolutely, but we want them to be self-sufficient and be able to get out on their own because of the tools that they've learned during their time here. And so those healthy relationships, whether that's going to church and getting involved in some small groups, getting involved in things like Celebrate Recovery, or mending relationships with family members and things like that, we assist with all of that.
Yeah.
We want them to do well once they leave the house. So we have a phenomenal partnership with Parkview, and they provide us 3 community nurses as well as a social worker, and they are working with the gentlemen that are coming in through emergency shelter, as well as the men and women and children that are involved in programming. And I've heard people talk about, I just started here in March of 2020, but I've heard people talk about, these nurses are making life-saving decisions.
Right.
There are some really serious health concerns that can obviously come up when you've been out on the streets for so long and just having no medical attention.
Right. I want to touch on just this building itself. We're 80,000 square feet, right?
Yeah.
And plans for the future, talk a little bit about kind of the vision for this space.
In our in Lifehouse, which is our emergency shelter, we have 129 beds. On the second floor, which is Restoration House, we have 144 beds.
Okay.
The 3rd floor of this building is actually a shell. So we are really blessed to have a forward-thinking board, and they said, you are building this place in an area that you're landlocked.
Right.
And so in 1964, when we opened the rescue mission on
You'll never outgrow
Superior,
this.
no, but when you see the cots that were lining the hallways and the chapel and everywhere, it was obvious that we had far outgrown it. And so we had a board that said, why don't we add an extra floor so that whenever the need arises, you have the space. And so that 3rd floor has been plumbed, electrical has been run, and we could have an additional 200 beds on that floor whenever the need arises.
Awesome. And you used the word dignity earlier, and I think that's what's so important about this space. There's dignity for somebody to have their own bed, their own locker. There's dignity in the way that the dining facility works and operates, or the chapel. So I think that's so important to, you're helping people, but you're providing dignity all along that path.
Yeah, we even have a 1-chair barbershop here now.
Yeah.
And the dignity that just comes to have your hair washed in there and cut, it's phenomenal.
Share a little bit about, some of those stories and the success that you see from, just somebody that had no hope, right? They were kind of just at their end, and going through this, they've really transformed.
We have a gentleman that's on staff with us, and he was in a homeless situation for many years, and he was living out of local motels, one in specific where he saw many of his friends overdose and die, and he just knew that it was time for him to make a different life decision, specifically when he was arrested at one point in time. And he still talks about how grateful he is for that day because he was able to turn his life around. And so he came through our Restoration House program, and he's just done so well with his recovery process and all that. And he had so much love for this place that he said, I want to be a person to be there and be an inspiration for those that are living what I've lived. And so he is now over our vocational services. And so all of our guys are on work teams here, so they're helping us cook the meals. They are helping us do the laundry, keep the building clean, and so he oversees all of that. And he can also just be an inspiration to them of, you can make it through this.
Yeah, I did. You can as well.
That's right.
Now, if folks in the community want to help out, what are some ways they can get involved?
We have an $8 million annual budget, and so
that's a chunk of change.
It sure is. But you know, if someone is wanting to give generously of their finances, that's always an option. When we're not in the middle of a pandemic, of course, volunteers really help keep this place running. So they help us with serving meals. They help us in our classes with our guys. They help us at Treasure House, sorting donations, cleaning them, stocking the shelves, doing all types of things. Haircuts, so we talked about people volunteering to cut hair. So there are a variety of ways that you can get involved through volunteering. Additionally, out on our website, which is fwrm.org, so Fort Wayne Rescue Mission, there's a monthly needs list, and so whatever season it is, we're going to share with you what those are. And we do ask that all donations are delivered to Treasure House. So, and that's up in Coldwater Crossing between Hobby Lobby and Walmart. But that's just a great space because additionally, the men and women who come into our programming, they receive vouchers and they can go into Treasure House and they can shop for the things that they need, because not everybody's going to want that navy blue pair of sweatpants, right? But there's dignity in that they can go and pick out an outfit, or you know, get some books for their kids, or you know, those needs. And we have a variety of events. We are just wrapping up One Night Without a Home, where typically we would all come together and camp out on the Karis House lawn and hear stories of our graduates. But this year we've gone virtual, and I personally slept in my car one night to raise money. Some people are sleeping out in refrigerator boxes. So there's just a variety of ways that you can get involved and bless others in this ministry.
Yeah, I want to mention too, before we lose sight of it, this space is also a community space, as far as, you know, you're going to have some classes being taught that are not just open to folks going through the program here, but folks in the general public can take part of. So that'll be coming up. And then great corporate meeting space if you have a team or a meeting need. There's a great facility for that as well, isn't there?
That's right, yeah. And Pastor Donovan has always had a dream about our community, to have a community resource center. And so we actually have a space right inside of our main lobby. And we are partnering with other nonprofits in the community. And our goal in the end is probably to have around 16 different nonprofits, places like Bright Point, Lutheran Social Services, the Fort Wayne Housing Authority, and the list goes on. Literacy Alliance is another one. And so whether it's our residents who are living here and they need to get connected to resources as they're going to be getting out on their own, or let's say a woman and her 3 children come into the Rescue Mission's new building to have a meal with us. She may not be in a homelessness crisis, but she could be one event away from having that. So let's get on the front end of that. Let's be proactive, and let's get her the resources that she needs now so that she doesn't become homeless in her vehicle with her children.
Yeah, no, that is so good. I think to wrap up, one of my favorite Bible verses on the wall, Jeremiah 29:11, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to give you a future and a hope. And I think amongst all the things that we've seen and talked about, this place provides hope. And so it's just such a great thing to have this facility in our community. I know a lot of corporate partners have helped make it happen. But I want to thank you, Emily, for taking the time with us today and giving us the tour. I want to thank you, as always, for watching. If you can be a help, please check out their website, see how you can pitch in. Maybe it's just donating those monthly items. Maybe it's coming down here when things open back up and giving some of your time. But as always, thanks so much for watching. For HHMtv, I'm Brock. We'll see you next time.